The FIFA World Cup in Brazil opens in 2 days. As the excitement for the tournament increases, so do the protests against it. First protests took place a year ago in June. People demonstrated against the costly World Cup in the face of rising bus fares and insufficient public spending.
It did start as a protest against this hike in bus fares, but what we saw is that people started venting their anger, their frustration against the high cost of living, against the lack of government accountability, and also against all of this money being spent on an event like the World Cup.
With the start of the tournament drawing closer, the protests have become more frequent. Sky News reported from Sao Paulo, where a subway strike paralyzed the city's traffic during Brazil's last warm-up game on Friday.
6 days before the start of the World Cup, clashes Brazil would rather the world did not see. On the second day of a metro strike in Sao Paulo, venue for the first game, police fire tear gas and stun grenades at protesters. The strike added to congestion on the city's notoriously busy roads, but it couldn't stop fans heading for Brazil's last warm-up game.
A few days before, homeless workers and indigenous groups took to the streets in the capital, Brasilia.
Dressed in traditional costumes, some with bows and arrows, the protesters were met in the middle of the highway by armed riot police, clad head to toe in protective body armour. As troops opened fire with tear gas and stun grenades, the protesters scattered. Some turned to fire their primitive weapons as they fled.
The Wire reports that at least 8 workers have died during construction related to the World Cup. According to a Pew Research poll, only 34% of Brazilians think the World Cup will help the economy. 61% say it's a bad thing because it takes away money from public services. According to the New York Times, Brazil's President Dilma Rousseff insisted that Brazilians planning to shun the event were a small minority. She said further, "The closer we get to the Cup, the more Brazil is going to show its passion for soccer." Her government has come under criticism for the sluggish economy, stalled public works projects, and being slow to meet the demands of Brazil's growing middle class. Brazil is holding elections in October. Brazilian soccer star Ronaldo told the Daily Mail that he is embarrassed by Brazil's struggle to complete the building of infrastructure for the Cup on time. He said, "It's a shame. I'm embarrassed. This is my country and I love it, and we shouldn't be transmitting this image abroad." Recently, a more quiet image of World Cup protest is going around the world. A street artist's wall painting in Rio de Janeiro is garnering attention.
And they're planning on spending $13.3 billion. And that's a significant amount, especially when you consider the fact that 1/3 of Brazil's population is living in poverty. They're either living in favelas or other poor rural parts of the country. And so I want to show you the piece of art that he posted. Again, this is street art. And I think that it really resonates with a lot of people that are living in poverty in the country. That's the reason why this story has gone viral and people are all talking about it.
Brazilians are also expressing their concerns with the street decorations they are putting up for the World Cup.
This street in the Flamengo neighborhood of Rio has started to be decorated by the residents. This is a very strong tradition in Brazil. It's always very colorful in the streets before the World Cup, but this year things have been different. It's been the talk of the town that people aren't as excited. It's a result of a more negative mood, people being very critical of the World Cup. People here decided to decorate the streets even so, but wanted to incorporate some of this critical feeling. This is a good example, the World Cup trophy with a big dollar sign right in the middle.
The opening game will take place in Sao Paulo on Thursday. Host Brazil is playing against Croatia. Brazil has won the World Cup 5 times, more than any other country, but lost it on home soil in 1950. That's a quick look at Brazil before the World Cup. I'm Julia Rabe.